Welcome to the Know. I'm John.
I'm Ben.
Is Call of Duty back? Did it ever really leave? I feel like it's always been here. The latest game, Call of Duty World War II, hits retailers today, and so far, its reviews are looking much better than they were for the last entry in the franchise, good old Infinite Warfare.
Sweet, sounds good. Meanwhile, Activision says that its sales are up too. So is it possible that a franchise that many had written off as stale is coming back? All they needed was to go back to World War II, apparently. Boots on the ground, that's what we all wanted this entire time.
Just gotta go back. We gotta go back. In a recent earnings call, that was a reference to Lost. Remember in Lost when they said we gotta go back?
Right.
Just want to make sure you didn't lose that. In a recent earnings call, Activision said that Call of Duty World War II's pre-orders have been strong and that it's seen a higher percentage of digital pre-orders compared to prior Call of Duty titles.
Obviously, that's great news for the franchise, considering that Infinite Warfare was viewed as a disappointment by critics, fans, and even Activision itself. Ouch, despite some respectable sales.
That's when your parents don't even like you. That's a problem. In the newest game, Activision famously went back to Call of Duty's roots. Boots on the ground combat in the familiar confines of World War II. And while it's still early, it looks like that strategy has paid off.
Hey, let's dig into the reviews for the game and see what critics have to say. As for overall scores, the game got an 85 on both Metacritic and OpenCritic, which puts it firmly in the good category. And if you're wondering, that's quite a bit higher than the 77 that Infinite Warfare got on Metacritic last year.
Yeah, critics really liked Call of Duty World War II's campaign mode, where you play as Red Daniels, a farm boy who serves as part of the 1st Infantry Division. But you also spend time as other soldiers too, including a tank commander and a French resistance operative. Playing on the Allies side, you'll storm the beaches of Normandy and head toward Germany as the war draws to a close.
Digital Chumps gave it a 9.5 out of 10 and had high marks for the campaign, even though the reviewer said it only took him about 6 to 7 hours to complete. The reviewer wrote that it's the best Call of Duty in years. Bombastic story, killer-grounded multiplayer, and dark and scary zombies make up one of the most complete and enjoyable Call of Duty experiences in years.
Yep. The game also introduces some new mechanics to the franchise, like health packs instead of regenerating your life over time. As reviewers noted, that forces you to play a lot more cautiously, which makes sense given the settings. There's also a new squad system that's similar to Battlefield, where your computer teammates provide you with things like ammo and health packs.
Ah, cool. GamesRadar gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, saying, getting rid of the gimmicks creates a much purer point-and-shoot experience. It also said the campaign is solid, unwavering fun with some great set pieces and moments. One drawback that its reviewer noted, though, is that the game sometimes does a bad job of telling you what's going on during the campaign. They wrote, the old Call of Duty World War II games always made it clear that the Allies were doing this and the Axis were doing that, and here's what's at stake. Here it feels like the script was just, war stuff happens, written repeatedly over the page. I didn't care much about the characters until the end because they didn't do anything meaningful until then. War never changes.
War happens. Polygon also noted some drawbacks in the game. In a review in progress, Polygon's writer described Call of Duty World War II as a redundancy rather than a reboot, saying the prospect of a modern take on World War II is an exciting one. Unfortunately, the Call of Duty World War II campaign is not up to the task, falling into rote cliches and overly familiar territory. While it returns to the era of classic Call of Duty, it neither captures the surprise of the early gamers nor the ambition of modern entries.
As for the game's multiplayer, some critics called it a high point of the game. There are a total of 10 maps set throughout Europe, and GameSpot's critic noticed that many have enclosed areas which favor shotguns and submachine guns.
New multiplayer modes include the objective-based war mode, which is similar to Battlefield's Rush, where you must achieve various objectives across a number of stages. There's also a new common area called Headquarters that's similar to Destiny's Tower, where you can customize your character, take on challenges, fight one-on-one with other players, and test out your fancy new weapons.
As GameSpot said in its 9 out of 10 review, as one of the most comprehensive and filler-free Call of Duties in most recent memory, Call of Duty World War II successfully capitalizes on the series' strengths.
Oh, and there are loot crates.
Ooh boy.
Like in basically every stupid game out right now. But Digital Chumps reviewer said the contents only seemed cosmetic, like skins and emblems. Its reviewer wrote, I never felt like I ever needed to buy them with my real monies.
So it feels like the newest Call of Duty is a nice palate cleanser after Infinite Warfare, which some considered a flop, despite ending last year as 2016's best-selling console game in the US.
I guess that's a pretty good flop if it's the best-selling console game in the US. Even Activision basically called it a disappointment. Its COO, Thomas Tipple, called Infinite Warfare a high-quality, innovative game, but he added that sales underperformed our expectations, and it's clear that for a portion of our audience, the space setting just didn't resonate.
I can hear the game right now. Just what do I have to do to impress you, Dad?
I know.
We'll know more in the next few months about how well Call of Duty World War II is ultimately received by fans, but if these reviews and pre-order numbers are any indication, it looks like the franchise has righted the ship.
What do you guys think of the early response to Call of Duty World War II? Are you planning to pick it up? Do you have too many games right now to play and you can't even think about this? Let us know in the comments.
And for all of your Call of Duty news, be sure to like this video, and if you're new around here, subscribe to the know. All they needed was... Yeah, all they needed...
In the newest game, Activision famously went back to Call of Duty's roots. Boots on the round, and boots on the ground. Fuck me running sideways.
Okay, let's dig into the reviews then, shall we? Let's see... ad-libbed that and fucked it up.